Hello, everyone. This is John from AU Packmule, and today we're going to do Game of Thrones Season 8 live stream with Mackenzie L Burns. I hope you guys are excited as I am because this is going to be a lot of fun. Mackenzie and I have worked together doing other stuff, but she's never been on my channel by herself, and I definitely wanted to make that happen. So thank you so much for being on. Mackenzie, would you like to say hello to everyone and welcome them?
Well, hi everyone. Yeah, this is the first time that I have been personally on AU's channel or just by myself with AU. Most of the times that I've been on with AU has been on Johnny's channel, which I believe he's in the chat. So yeah, it's been awesome, and I got introduced to you through him. So yeah, it's awesome to be here, and thank you for having me on.
It just goes to show you what a great community if you reach out to someone and welcome them on your channel, that the friends that come from that are endless. So I'm really glad that you got to be on here, and I really appreciate working with you in the past. And I appreciate your passion that you have for A Song of Ice and Fire, George's work. The television show, you've been very diligent on producing content. And when I say that, I think you're on about 24 hours a day, but I could be wrong. Just different names.
Yeah, yeah, on all the time, pretty much.
I don't know how you do it. Tell us all. Do you know exactly how many hours a week you're on, or do you think it's uncalculable?
If it's not on camera, it's usually like hours of either watching stuff or reading about stuff. So yeah, probably at least maybe about 2 days worth of like stuff a week of either doing stuff for my channel or involved with projects on Johnny's channel or with the Cylon Johns or somebody else's stuff. It's a lot of just either prep work or recording or live streaming. So yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah. So you have a couple of series though that you're doing. One of them is the Episode Club, and you also do an awful lot of coverage on the new Fire and Ice book with Johnny. What was the inspiration for that, or did you just find that you really needed to talk about it even
for
more?
which book? Which
Either one,
or
yeah.
for the start of Episode Club or the Episode Club, it was pretty much I had seen just either people talk about the books or the show, but on like a more sparing level, in terms of just say like, oh, we'll talk about one specific episode, or it's not really coming at it from the perspective of I've seen this before and we can talk about it, because a lot of people who talk about the episodes of the show are either people who react to the show for the first time or talk about the episode after seeing it for the first time. With Episode Club, it's usually people who have seen the episodes before and who are like you and I, like delving into the episodes and trying to figure out and piece together if a specific scene and how it means for episodes down the line or seasons later. Yeah,
One of the things that I didn't see you do, and I forgive me if I missed it, but when you finish a season, do you ever go back, like especially with one, and look at what the progression was as an overview?
We did one for season 1, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because that was the first time I had done 10 live streams like on my channel at one, like for one successfully on my channel at one point.
Continuously?
Yeah, so we did that where it was just and around that time was when it hit, I can't remember, but it was like 100 subscribers or something like that. So it's like just going back and kind of going over the season, and that's kind of where a special stream has come from, which was basically we talked about like breaking down the best components of stuff, which if certain people in the chat, it's the best butts had come from. So who has the best butt of the first season. So people now want that as a specific stream. So yeah.
Butts are us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So stuff like that. That's come about. But,
well, I wanted to say hello and welcome to all the people in the chat. Bubba Husky is here. Johnny B. Crazy, of course. Lawrence Corner, Misty 306, Peter Griffin, Storm Steel, Tammy Minda is here. Thank you for being here, Tammy. I really appreciate that. Very nice of you. Tina Sarah is also here. Tulkas 420 and Vanessa Amici. So thank you again for all that is here, and hope you're enjoying this conversation with Mackenzie L Burns. If you haven't subscribed to Mackenzie, all of her descriptions, all of her links are in the description, including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the stuff that she has listed on her about section of her channel is there. And once you go to her channel, everything's in the banner. So if you don't see it on my description, just click on those links as well. And you'll enjoy her content because it's very unassuming. You don't have to worry about being beaten because you didn't read all of the books since you were 4 years old. And then also, you don't have to worry about her talking over you because she's super polite. For those of you that don't know, she's Canadian, so it's required as a Canadian citizen.
Yeah, being polite, that's and saying sorry even if you didn't do anything wrong. You're usually the one that says sorry, but yeah.
I know that's kind of a joke, but honestly, everybody that I have met, almost, I can't even think of someone that I have met from Canada that wasn't very nice, except for when you go to Starbucks in Canada. For some reason or other, they don't, they're not very happy with waiting on you. I'm not sure what that's all about.
Well, when you ask for like a specific drink, but then have 15 different alterations, the person behind the counter is like, really? So it's like, yeah.
That's not in the computer. I don't know how to do
it. Yeah. It was part of my training. But
Sir LT Giles is here. Hey buddy, how's it going? Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
I just did an American thing and just talked right over you. So I apologize.
It's all right.
Do you remember the first time you heard about Game of Thrones or heard about the books?
With Game of Thrones, I had started watching I've heard about it before, when it was current, and then I started I heard about the show when the biggest part of the show when I heard about it was the Red Wedding and then Joffrey's death. But I didn't start watching the show until I was in my first year of college, which was about in 2015. So that was around the time of the end of season 5. So I got to watch kind of the end of season, I was around it was around when the end of season 5 was happening. It was that the months after that, during that Christmas break, that I really got to watch and catch up.
Nice.
So I got to watch season 6 and season 7 live, but the other stuff I just had to watch.
Go back and go over.
But yeah,
I just wanted to say thank you, Tina Sarah. That is so nice of you. $5 super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Again, totally not necessary. Just, but I appreciate the love. That's all I can say. Very, very nice of you. I also wanted to welcome Al, Red Sox fan, and Peter Griffin, Tulkas 420, and Koldnitsky is here. Thank you for coming, man.
Al, Red Sox fan is my Twitter father, according to a game on Twitter.
He is everybody's best buddy in one form of relative or another, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Always supportive. So thank you. Always giving out blessings. So thank you. So basically you're a latecomer. I think George started this book about 10 years before you were born.
Yeah, because I'm 97.
Yeah. So Well, that's actually not too bad because the first book was 96. So you're good. I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't probably age appropriate, but as like for yeah, but I I watched all the show and then waiting for season 6 I read all the book or audio booked all the books.
Mm.
So yeah.
That was my first experience because when I found out that we were going to have Game of Thrones, the show, they hadn't actually produced, aired yet. So I had about 6 months to, September of 2010. So we had about 6 months before the first airing. So I did all the audio stuff as soon as I could. That was before Dance was even out. So I just gobbled that up as quick as possible and loved it. The problem with doing it that way with the audio, and I did that because I traveled a lot, so I got to hear it on the road, is that you miss the great nuances that George put in with the capital letters. I can't remember the first time I remember seeing that capital S in the snow when they were referring to a Jon Snow, and that was like, is that really what they're referring to? So it was quite an epic tale. Heidey from Costume Co is also here. My internet love of Tea Baby is also here. Thank you for being here. Professor Cicely Cogsworth, one of my favorite names of all YouTube. So thanks also for coming. When you first started going over these as a less of a fan and more of a passion, I guess is the best way to put it, because you do become passionate about these. What was your first like aha moment?
Like in terms of how
Like whether it was who was Jon Snow's mom and dad, or who Catelyn was really,
Catelyn. Yeah, with the first like kind of moment of that was when watching, because being a late person to, I guess, the show, I had seen all of these theory videos, like, is Jon Snow's real dad this character or this character, or is all these random theories this, that, and the other. And it's kind of, I guess, the fact of there's so many, because obviously it's hard to distinguish which one myself, but it's probably the idea that there's potentially political Jon, even though I didn't come up with it, that the political Jon can be a thing in the show, coming out of season 6 and into season 7, especially because it's like it would be because everything is secular, and Jon kind of played a political game when he was with the wildlings and with Ygritte, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again. And that kind of theory was sprung up by Foya Hexa, who's on YouTube. She's awesome. And
say that again. Who is it?
Her name is Foya Hexa, which is Fire Witch in German.
I don't know that channel. I'm learning something.
Yeah, she was she has a theory video, which is that of Jon and Sansa, and then she also has political Jon. She was on with Jon and I when we were talking about Vikings, and I was on a live stream with her a fair few months ago now. But yeah, she basically had a theory come about, which was that that Jon is basically playing the long game with Daenerys, and that everything that his actions of season 7 aren't what they seem, and that there's actually like a ulterior motives at play. They're good videos, they're like long ones, but it's very detailed as well, so it's like, yes.
Very cool. We'll have to check that out later, because I've not heard of that channel.
Mhm.
So tell me when you got basically connected with YouTube in
Uh,
regards to Game of Thrones.
I had watched Game of Thrones content for a while. And I just never really had like obviously the courage to do my own. Um, it's through having like engaging with live streams and other such that people had told me that I should do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one of the big people that really pushed me to do it was Johnny, because he thought that my opinions were valuable and such. And he's one of the people that's continuously always has been on my channel. He was the first person who was on my channel. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Thank you, Johnny. Johnny Be Crazy put the link to the Frohexa in the chat. Thank you for doing that, buddy. I appreciate it. If you guys don't know, Mackenzie L Burns is my guest today, and we're talking Game of Thrones season 8, of course, because we're all excited and the hype is real. T Baby wants to know what you think is going to happen to Theon.
Okay, so well, we didn't see his character at all in the trailer, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we
So
saw 3 ships that were
three ships.
Ironborn that weren't part of the Golden Company. So,
Yeah, so because the last time we see Theon in season 7 is him wanting to go save Yara. So I feel like we're gonna get a similar situation to like the opposite of what Yara was doing for Theon, which is like when Theon was pretty much broken and he was Reek,
mm-hmm.
that he'll have to try and save her that way. And it'll be a failed attempt, and then potentially she could be saved. Like it'll probably be obviously the reversal, and I don't know too much about it, but it'll probably be something like along those lines of him going through what she had to kind of go through with him in terms of trying but failing, but then maybe succeeding in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I know because that actress, I think she wasn't at the time of the end of season 7. She was about to have a baby, so I don't know exactly how
You're
much she
talking
was
about
involved.
Gemma Whalen?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
So I don't know how much her character was involved in this show, because I know a lot of people with regards to the pictures, they're like, why isn't she in any of the pictures, or why isn't she in anything of like the promo material? The actress actually had to go on to, I think, Twitter to say that no, because during that time is when she just had a baby. So yeah, it's
This must
like
have been her second baby because her first baby's,
yeah.
I think, a year old. I only follow her on Instagram. If you ever want to see a character that doesn't look anything like her, an actress that doesn't look anything like what you would think in the show, Gemma is definitely one. Um, she is such an awesome, down to earth person. I mean, she doesn't mind taking pictures of her in the most awkward positions, meaning as a mom, when you're taking care of a young child, etc. I just love those shots that she puts out. And she also does a lot of stage work. I think every other picture, if it's not about the baby, it's about being on stage. So you enjoy her as an actress, following her, etc.
No, I haven't myself
Mm.
followed her. It's just I know that when there was all those pictures coming out, that people were like, why isn't she like this? And then someone like tweeted about her tweet saying it's like because she had just had a baby. That's like, calm down, people. Like, she's in the season. She just wasn't there when they had to film all the promo material. Um, yeah, something like that. I just remembered like that being like a thing on Twitter with that.
Gotcha. So, T baby for me, I think it's pretty simple that Theon is obviously going to go try to rescue Asha. So, hopefully that will go well. If it does, I think we'll definitely see Theon back at Winterfell, trying to help out the Starks with this crazy story. And if he can bring some of the Ironborn in, and I mean, he already knows Winterfell, so we've got that going. She also asked, do you think we will see a wedding this season? And if so, who? That's a great question.
Yeah, I feel like they'll give us at least one wedding, and it'll be but I want more than just one. But the one wedding that we're probably most definitely going to get is Jon and Daenerys. Even though, if you've followed me for any length of time, you know that that's like not one of the ones that I want, because I feel like people who are specifically Jon and Dany fans, like, they would want an entire episode just dedicated to the wedding and all of this stuff. Like, they wouldn't like it if it was like a Robb Stark and Talisa wedding or something like that. The one wedding that I feel like I would want to be satisfied with is like Sam and Gilly, or one of those kinds of weddings. Even though I don't think we're gonna get that one, I feel though that we're more likely to get Jon and Daenerys to get married, whether it's before he finds out who he is, or even after. Especially if they make it a very Disney ending, which I highly doubt, but who knows? Yeah.
Great answer. And I think in regards to weddings, if we get one, it will be a quickie. And when I say a quickie, I don't mean the bedding ceremony. I mean the actual wedding itself. I think it'll be like a afterthought, almost like looking back at the actual ceremony, because I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of time for that particular thing. Plus, we have already seen the weddings in the long drawn out process, and I don't think we're going to get any more of the sacrifice killing weddings, like we did with Joffrey and Robb and Talisa.
Yeah.
Before I go any further, I do want to mention that in a previous live stream, we were talking about the costume of the quote-unquote Harry Strickland character, where the left hand had a hand guard over the top, like a leather type of hand guard. And that was similar to the bowman that was in the trailer, where you got to see what we thought was Arya, and she had a bow in her hand, and that was all we saw. But with the hand covering, I had mentioned that it was Game of Theories with Marie that had sent me a picture showing the hand of Harry Strickland blown up, and what we thought was Arya. Because Geek had done a video on this, by the way, not this specifically, but covering this, and she had mentioned that the nails were pretty long on the bowman, so not sure that it's still Harry Strickland or whatever. Khaleesi Clues had even mentioned that it might be Cersei that was the Harry Strickland character because of her golden hair and that turnip-looking wig that she wears.
Yeah.
So, but I was corrected by someone from allunreal.com. This person sent me an email saying, I was the one that sent you the pictures, and I do apologize. I didn't mention your name. And I do apologize that I had gotten that incorrect. So allunreal.com is the one that sent me the information in regards to the pictures of the bowman and the Harry Strickland close-up. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. I really enjoy the interaction with you guys before and after the live streams, sometimes even during. Just kidding. Yeah, all my contact information is in the about section. So if you ever want to reach me, I'm on Twitter, Facebook. My email address is there. I have a phone number there. So you could just reach me any way you want. Lady Dreamfire is here. Thank you for being. Clarissa Thompson, fellow Canadian, and thank you so much. Reese O is here. Santa Via Major is here. And I wanted to ask you, Santa Via Major, if I mispronounce your name, just send me a post on Facebook of how it sounds, or actually do a voice recording or something, because that is a great name.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got all the questions. Oh, T Baby also asked, she's on fire today. I don't know what's going on. Who do you think will be the first to die in season 8 of the characters we know? I love that question.
The first.
Oh, before you answer, Nancy T is here. Hello.
Nancy T.
Right in front of your beautiful blanket.
The best blanket maker, the mother of blankets,
Amen.
The protector against the cold. Yeah. The first person to die. It's hard to say because it seems like we get everybody living until episode 3 for all the major people, and up until episode 3. So it'd have to be like a minor character. But even then, I don't think like. Kind of like thinking about it, it's hard to say because it's like we see or like Jaime, Bran, Podrick, like all of these people during the battle. So I'd feel like it would be a named character, but a character that we don't necessarily need for that fight. So maybe Ned Umber, but because I feel like one of those two will live, like between Ned Umber and Alice Karstark. I feel like Alice Karstark of the two would live out longer than Ned Umber, but I feel like they're both still in Winterfell, so that's hard to say. So I don't know.
What's your best guess?
Let's see. I don't know. It's hard to think because it seems like they're all important until like. So then I guess if we're going by like if they all die and like, or what if the first person to die, I guess in episode 3 probably would be either maybe Grey Worm. I don't know. I feel like he's not too long. Like I don't think his character is making it out of season 8 because especially with rewatching with episode club. He said that his fear, he never had the fear of dying, but he has always had the fear of losing Missandei. So it's like life without Missandei. So if it could be like that dramatic thing of he has to die because of the battle and she has to live by herself almost. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that's going to die. I think T Baby, when she was on, talked about that an awful lot, a lot of death. But I think for the first person that's going to die, I would say is going to be now I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh.
There's so many characters.
I was just about to say Thoros of Myr, but it's his buddy.
Beric Dondarrion.
Beric Dondarrion, yeah. So that's my guess.
Hey, we all won't know until the final credits roll.
No, we'll know sooner than that because the person will be on screen dying.
Oh yeah, true. To the beginning of the after I guess the title sequence. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
We get a cold open. But yeah. It's hard to guess because we'll have to lose so many people, but it's hard to say which person will be the first person
No, for
die.
sure. Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of deaths. Is there anyone that you definitely don't want to die? I mean, personally?
I could say it because it's kind of my nickname, but I feel like Sansa's not gonna die.
Mm.
If she was going to die, she would have died already. Um,
She certainly
yeah,
had her chances, didn't she?
yeah.
She
They could,
survived Ramsay and Joffrey and
yeah, like it.
Littlefinger.
Yeah, it's not like she's kind of well, because she's kind of put now in this position in terms of where she kind of stands with in the, I guess, in the fandom, kind of in terms of survival, because either she's gonna die somehow during the battle for Winterfell, or if both Jon and Dany die, then she'll have to raise the baby with Tyrion if he survives. So it's kind of one of those things. Um, and that kind of, not necessarily theory, but that kind of thought process kind of leads me into a theory kind of thing that I've been thinking about for like a long time, which will be on my channel hopefully soon. But it's a
Yeah, you do have a nickname of Sansa, so that is an interesting choice. Johnny Franco is here. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. He's coming into a live stream where I was watching him just last night. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. One of the things that I really like about Game of Thrones is that it's a great story, but it tells a lot of stories within itself.
mm-hmm.
In other words, it really is a teaching opportunity for George to tell us certain things. So, what is it that you think George is trying to tell through this story?
There's like so many different
I'm
like
giving you a hard question because I need to respond to
yeah,
Bobby Canilano and other wonderful people in the chat.
no,
So thank you.
it's
No,
okay.
just kidding.
No. I feel like one of the biggest lessons that George kind of uses with his writing is that that people, like, no matter who they are, like big, small, young or old, and all of this stuff, like that, or crippled or abled, it's like you're able to be whoever you want to be, and that kind of your destiny is not determined based off of um, where you live and where you're from. Uh, that you can kind of be who you want to be, or for some characters, it's like, yeah, you may want to go down this direction, but there's something that pulls you in a complete uh, different direction, and that life isn't kind of always what you picture it. Like, you can plan as much as you want from your life, and that there's some things that are just like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna divert you in a different direction. Some, yeah, like for like the Jon Snow's character, like he kind of was just like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and just be like a nobody, and then he's progressively becoming somebody so important. It's like the more you deny things and the more you don't want things, sometimes they just creep into your life. Or yeah, it's stuff like that. And like with Sam's character, like how he was from this important house and he wasn't treated very well as a child, and then felt like he was nothing, but he's becoming a character that's raised to being something much more than he expected. There's like, you can exceed beyond your own expectations of yourself kind of thing.
I totally understand what you're saying. Nancy T, that is so generous. $30 super chat. I just don't know how to say thank you enough. You are so generous. I'm just lost for words, to be honest with you. It's hard to say how much I appreciate that. I'm so grateful. Totally unnecessary. I'm glad to. Yeah, you're just amazing.
Nancy T is awesome.
Mm, mm, mm. Uh, um, but I think, to be honest with you, I really do think that's one of the things that George is trying to tell us in the books is that it doesn't matter if you have a heritage that you're not sure of, if you're born a dwarf or if you're born with nothing but courtesy, like you Canadians are. Um, or if you have the best sword hand in the world, you really have to be the best you can be at what you are and then move forward, right?
Yeah, it's kind of, it breaks down to just being adaptable and have adaptability. Yeah, and just growing from that. And everybody has flaws too. Like, you can be picture perfect on the outside, like kind of what the Lannisters were. They were picture perfect relatively on the outside, but internally it just like all crumbles to bits. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we obviously, if you look at someone like Sandor Clegane with his burnt face, or Tyrion with his dwarfism, you automatically put negative context to that. But in this show, we've seen that they're overcoming them. So yeah, Johnny, I definitely agree. Everyone here is awesome. I can't imagine. All you guys have been super fantastic to each other. I appreciate all the support you guys have given me, and shown a lot of love for the guests that have come on. So, and for each other. I don't think that there is a more supportive community out there. And I say community, just like Johnny Franco was talking about last night. This is a YouTube community, but we have definitely developed this into something more. I just am really grateful to be part of it. So it is kind of a little bit of a sad time because we know that we're only a month away from the beginning of the season, and then 6 weeks it'll be over. But I hope it's not over for the people that are in this community, because I hope we find something else to cling on to. Not Star Trek, please. But yeah, whether it's Tolkien or anything new that's coming out, like the Deadwood series, yeah, Westworld, I think a lot of us have enjoyed. So Johnny B. Crazy says, yes, the books never end. And I think George is gonna help us with that. Even if we do get Winds and Dream in a 2-book collection series starting in January, I'll be so happy. But even if that happens, we'll still get more books from George. So stay in touch with each other for sure. Definitely enjoy the series, and I do like the idea that no matter who you are, what you are, or what is your hang up, or what is your best attribute, George does pull out the best storytelling. And that's one of the things I love about this, is that in every sentence or every paragraph or whatever it is, George has a story within the story. And it's unlike any other fiction or any other book that I've ever read. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Like, the man writes paragraphs about food. Like, no other author really does that. They're like, this is what this, like, if they write about food, it's like, this is what this person ate and this is how they ate it. It's like not the whole like drawn out kind of thing.
The next time you read something like that, look at to see what he's trying to tell you, because usually what it is it's him trying to put you to sleep, so you don't pay attention to the story within that description. And I can give you 100 different examples, but it's really incredible how he almost lulls us to sleep. And with one of the things that he does with that food description is he mimics what Tolkien did in The Lord of the Rings. I really think that was one of his homages to Tolkien, is that Tolkien did that all the time. So it really got you into the bring you into the world of George R. R. Martin. So yeah. Any particular episode that you're looking forward to? Because I know that there's only 6.
It's hard to tell because we have had a year. It's like a year and a half, basically, almost. We will have been away from the series, so I'm kind of like excited for obviously 3 because that's the battle up. That's the designated battle episode. But I feel like I'm always torn between like 1 and 6. Like this the final episode, but I don't want it to come like when it comes. It's just like, yeah, like I feel like 6 will be I feel it. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like it'll be like the like after everything, like the penultimate episode of 5 will be like the most dramatic heavy, and then everything after that, like 6 will be just more the calm after that massive storm that we get. Like I don't feel like it's be bittersweet to like see episode 6, but it'll be awesome at the same time that we've all gotten to that place.
Joss Whedon said Jorah has to play a big part. I think a lot of the characters will play big parts. What do you think's in store for Jorah?
Jorah, we see him obviously fighting in the battle for Winterfell. It'll be hard because he will be coming back. Not only is he on the side of Daenerys and sort of Jon at this point, but he'll be coming back to the north, which is a place that holds semi-bad memories because it's because Ned Stark kind of kicked him out of the north. He'll have moments probably with Lyanna Mormont, his niece slash cousin, his cousin, sorry, not niece. That's Jorah Mormont's niece. So there'll be that dynamic of him kind of coming back into almost his, like, even though he's been exiled from his family, that kind of moment with some of his family because he kind of feels like everything else has been lost, especially after covering season 5, episode 5 just recently. I have to upload. It's talking about when Jorah finds out that his father has been murdered by the mutineers of the Night's Watch. So it's him not coming back to not only the north but coming back to family and obviously fighting for Daenerys. I don't know, like, if he would, like, I feel like he's more likely to make it out of the show alive. I wouldn't be surprised though if they had him be killed, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword of like, well, he's already been saved by Grayscale, so I feel like he's more likely to survive, unless it's like a shock value of we have to kill him off. But I feel like he'll play a prevalent role in terms of kind of maybe getting the North to kind of like Daenerys, even though that'll be maybe more of Jon's thing. But it's maybe making peace with his family and
for sure
that kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to get mean mugged by Lyanna for a long time, maybe 2 or 3 times for sure. But eventually they will bring him in because we need his sword, and with him using Heartsbane, I think that kind of tells it all. Mo Castillo asked, will the Battle of Winterfell only be 1 episode, and will the Night King's conclusion be there? That's a great question.
I don't feel like the Night's King is gonna end there. It's too much of like he's too much of a quote unquote bad guy to just have his story end halfway through a season. I feel like it'll probably, that episode will probably be like not necessarily Blackwater where the entire episode took place at one location, but it'll be like, what's that one episode? Like more like Battle of the Bastards, where it was like we caught up with Daenerys and then we went straight to Winterfell in the north. So we'll probably get a couple scenes with Cersei, maybe that the Golden Company's finally arrived, and we get that throne room scene with probably Harry Strickland and Euron, and them talking about like, let's do blah blah blah, like making their plans, and then we head straight back to the north and to Winterfell. Like I feel like it'll be not necessarily a split, but a more, you can say like 20-40 thing of the episode, even though it's the longest episode, I think, of the season. So
yeah, I was kind of cautious about the length of the season of the episodes, but to answer your question in regards to the Winterfell battle, I definitely think it's going to bleed into 4. Obviously, everybody's assuming it's going to be 3, so I think we'll definitely get a bleed into 4, and I don't think that will be the Night King's end. And the reason why I say that is because I think the people from Winterfell will have to be forced out and move south or west or any direction they can. But yeah, as far as people that are going to die in Winterfell, I don't think T-Baby, I don't think everybody's going to die. I definitely think, we're going to have Jon and Dany. Dany might even have to leave, and be gone until it's all over, and have Jon come back and get her when it's done. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of people. I think we're going to see probably the biggest decrease in character history of a show, because there's so many people. We already talked about Brienne, possibly, that Peter Griffin had mentioned, Podrick, maybe Gendry. I think what George will happen is we'll have some sort of continuation to hope for the Dream of Spring, but most of the Starks will live. And I say Starks because I don't think Jon is going to be around for the end. But yeah, what about you?
I feel like it'll be one of those episodes of television where it'll be there'll be like a count of like the deaths of like named characters, like the most deaths of named characters. I do feel like some of the characters that we may think that are gonna die will probably survive. Like I feel like of the people that would probably survive, I feel like Brienne may be one of the ones to survive, not only just because of who she is, but because of the whole thing with the White Book and how she's repeatedly, like when she was in King's Landing, she like looked at it and studied it, and talked about it with Jaime. So I feel like she's already kind of part of Sansa's, if you want to call it Sansa's Queen's Guard. So I feel like she'll be a part of another King's Guard or Queen's Guard, and that she may get to write in the White Book, and potentially change the rules of not change the rules, but like adapt the rules in terms of what being a King's Guard is, and when certain people can be knighted. Why I say this is because John and I have talked about it on episode called Podcast, is because I feel like Podrick will maybe be either die as a squire or be knighted and then die at the battle for Winterfell, because we still don't know why he's still considered a squire, because there's always that mention of why are you still a squire? Why are you still a squire? Like even in season 6, there's a mention of why are you a squire? So I feel like it's not like because of maybe what he's accomplished. It'll be based off of accomplishments and not necessarily like age or such, because Podrick has done a lot, and Podrick has kind of positively influenced Brienne in some sort of way. So I feel like she could do stuff like that, where she's not only adapts the White Book and the Kingsguard, but also with other things like being a knight and what being a knight means, and stuff like that.
You think he'll be the one that continues the or possibly continues the knight tradition?
The
Because
whole
most of the houses from the south have been eliminated.
the idea of what being a knight is, like the whole like, or when you get to be a knight and all of this stuff, because his Podrick's always been a squire, but because he's killed the Kingsguard and does what he's done, he hasn't had the opportunity to kind of move up. So I feel like he will probably either moved up, or because of her experiences with Podrick, that there'll be something about with the changes in terms of knighthood, and Kingsguard stuff as well, with her kind of connection to Jaime. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because it's been positively affected and kind of reinforced by two people that she's been kind of put with that care about her in some way. Yeah.
So I think that we have a few conclusions to this this season, and I think one of the things that's going to happen is that we're going to understand what the Night King is coming for. Do you have any idea of what the Night King wants in Winterfell?
Winterfell is the largest stronghold in the north. It's where all the dead Starks are. So it's hard to say what exactly he wants, because every time he's been in the same area as a Stark, they haven't been killed. Like, the Night King could have killed Bran, but he didn't. The Night King could have had Jon killed, but that didn't happen. So I feel like, in a sense, they're on the same lines of, like, he's kind of not on the side of the Starks, but like kind of just more of an affection for, not affection, but like potentially that he is a Stark or was a Stark, or had Stark blood. But it's hard to say, because I don't think we're gonna get the conclusion of who the Night King is and so on and so forth because of the Long Night. I think we'll obviously get the conclusion of what that specific Night King wants. It's just not them in general. Like, yeah, I don't feel like we're gonna get too much, because they'll probably save majority of it for the Long Night.
Yeah, I agree. We're definitely not going to get the true story, but I think we're going to get what the Night King wants at Winterfell, which is a different question.
Mm-hmm.
His origin story is definitely not going to be revealed until then. So, and I've never believed the Night King origin story, and I think an episode last year with the cave drawing proved that this isn't the Night King. He could be an heir to the Night King, or like the Sword of the Morning, he has to be someone that is worthy of being considered the Night King. I'm not sure exactly how that works with beings that don't produce heirs, that sort of thing. But Mo Castillo asked, do you believe the Night Queen is in the crypts? 1,000,000,000%. There is no doubt in my mind that that's what he's there for. So yeah,
I think that Dany is the Night Queen, or Cersei.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We think, because of the way George writes, that in the description with the paleness, with the corpse, assuming that they are like corpse, that they're the same. But I think that one of the things that George tells us from the beginning is that we're not talking about this being, and yet every single time we talk about the Night King, the Night King, the Night King, who it is, 8 million people. It could be the Night King, could be Bran, it could be someone that was slept in this very room. It's just over and over and over again. We get the Night King discussion, but the only time we talk about the Night Queen is in reference to the Night King, and we never talk about the Night Queen specifically. So, yeah.
And that's more of the lore. It's not obviously presented in the show, but yeah,
in the books we haven't gotten anything from the others, the Night King, or any real description of the Great Other. So
yeah, because it's kind of hard, because we kind of meld things together, because I know there's the Night King and then there's the Night's King, because there was like the King of the Night's Watch and then there was like the other one, so it's kind of hard to gauge what exactly we're dealing with. But I could see it that one of the dead Starks is like a dead Stark is raised, or dead lady, but there's not the only lady to be buried in Winterfell
is Lyanna.
Was Lyanna, besides Catelyn, unless we want Catelyn to be the Night's Queen, based off of the show.
You just made everybody spew their coffee all over the computers.
Yeah, because the only what's it? The statue that we see of Catelyn was in the Crypts trail, or the Crypts teaser. So, but the only lady to have been buried is Lyanna Stark. So, or Lyanna Targaryen, if you want to call her that.
Johnny Franco, thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. Everybody has been so awesome today. We still have Bobby Candelano in the chat. Clarissa Thompson, Costume Co. is here. Elka DeBoer is here. Fake Arya, Fandom D. Saint. Forrest Blurdo had to take off, so thank you for coming.
Yes.
John Taylor, Johnny Be Crazy. Again, Johnny Franco, appreciate it. Lady Dreamfire stopped cooking just to come and listen to this chat. So I appreciate that. And Linda R is here. Misty 306, Mo Castillo, Peter Griffin, Professor Cicely Cogsworth. Love that name. Reese O, Santavia Major, Storm Steel, T Baby, Tulkas 420, Vanessa Amici, and Vlad Riot, who is new. Definitely not familiar with Vlad, but thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you everybody for kind of joining us early on a Saturday.
I was going to ask you who's your favorite in the chat, but I already know that answer, so we'll move on to something else.
Friends in the chat. Yeah.
I know, it's like amazing. It's like friends retreat week, right? Speaking of retreats, are you familiar or wanting to go or anything like that to any of the cons that are coming up?
Yeah, I have Con of Thrones booked up, so yeah, I'm going to Con of Thrones. It'll be my first convention, specifically like that, because I've been to like random things, but like that'll be the first like con that I've been to, so it'll be awesome. Yeah, no, a whole bunch of people in the chat. I know Johnny's going, John St. Baptiste is going, a whole bunch of lovely people are going.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Yeah, and Nashville. Oh, I'm just not prepared for how hot it'll be in Nashville. But
you're not familiar with the hot, humid weather that's in the Southeast, are you?
I've been to like the South, like with that type of weather before, because I was in Nashville, but that was like the May long weekend when it was starting to become humid. But I have delved with the hot and humidity, but probably not as deep as that one. But hey, new experiences all the time. But
yeah, I really feel for you, because I was born and raised in Florida, And for someone who used to make fun of all the people that came down on spring break, they would hit the beaches and they would be so pale white, like literally corpse white. And by the time that the lunchtime came, those people were crispy, crunchy red.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you do to prepare yourself; it's hard to overcome.
Yeah.
Yes, Danny McKay, I got a picture of Brienne of Tarth, uh, Gwendolyn Christie on Thursday. Got an autograph, but I uploaded a video of an interview with her, and it wasn't me that was doing the interview. So I do apologize for everybody that thought, oh, you really pulled that one over our heads. But yeah, I would have loved to have done an interview with her, and I would have loved to talk to her about what is her next project, because obviously that's something she can talk about. But the person at the Emerald City Comic-Con on Thursday was just interested in Game of Thrones. She didn't ask one Captain Phasma question or one previous experience question. So it was funny to listen to this poor woman talk about nothing, for 15 minutes. But she did, share her sobbing story. So I enjoyed that. But it was very, I got to be honest with you. If Con of Thrones is anything like the Emerald City Comic Con, I think everybody is going to be really overwhelmed. I spent most of my time at the information booth trying to figure out what the hell was going on, because they had basically 2 blocks of places where presentations were happening, because it wasn't all, Game of Thrones was just a fraction of what was happening. It was more about the geekiness of everything con. So of everything comics, I should say, including games, etc. Sunshine and Silver Arrow ask, did I meet Megan? And I said, I do apologize. No. Megan is Robin Hobb, another great author of the Assassin series. She was only there for a certain period of time, and that was during the interview. On Thursday, she's going to be there again today and tomorrow, which is sold out, so I'm not going. But yeah, to get back to the con, though, I do want to let you know, have things mapped out and how big of a distance it is for you to walk, because to get the tickets, it was over here. To see this person was over here. To get over here, you needed a ticket over here. And it was just absolutely crazy. It took me,
I can only imagine.
It took me 3 hours to find the Funko booth, to only find out that the line to get into the Funko booth was about 3 hours. And I made it for the first 2 hours, but then at the point where I was only an hour away was when they told me that the Arya Stark pops are all sold out. And I was just like, well, what am I doing here? So it was crazy. Unless you know specifically where things are, it is it was just crazy. It was, I've been to the con before, because I used to work 2 blocks away from the convention center where it's held. And it is easy to get to, for me, as far as driving or whatever. It's easy to, to park and get tickets and all that stuff. But once you get there, the way they have it set up so that you have to go through the metal detectors and where you get your tickets and all that stuff, nobody knows, honestly. The people that run the convention center know where the convention center segments are, but they have no idea about the con. And then the people that know about the con have no idea about the convention center. So it was just so
lost in translation, it seems.
So crazy. I can't say enough how much you need to be organized, because otherwise you just waste a lot of time. The booths, the people that were in the booths, they were fantastic. I really enjoyed the discussion with them. But if you're looking for a specific thing, you better get in touch with them and find out where they're at, because that way at least you can say, this booth I need to get to, and the people can tell you where the booth is. So yeah, that's
cool.
I'll be glad when the Rain City one comes. That's in an area where I know like the back of my hand, and I think I can negotiate that without any problems. But this one was the worst I've been to. So and when I say that, I don't mean worst as in the presentations, because they were fantastic.
Just disorganization, more or less.
But just having the information available to a person where you can say, yeah, these are the exhibits and these are where they're at. That's all I want. And they didn't have that. So yeah. Anyways, sorry to sidetrack everything, but that question that I think it was Danny McKay that asked that about Brienne. But yeah, I mean, getting to see Gwendolyn Christie up front. I'm a big fan of the WNBA, the Storm, and that team has some really tall, muscular women, and Brienne blows them all away. Gwendolyn is just a beautiful person to begin with, but yeah, she's just a fantastic interview, and I enjoyed that. Seeing it in person was great.
I'm surprised that she was only asked about Game of Thrones. That's like, I was like, wow.
Well, it was a sci-fi employee that was doing Sci-Fi Channel that was doing the interview, and obviously she was only interested in the Game of Thrones, so that's what they asked about. And unfortunately, there was not a lot that she could tell us other than her own personal information there. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed that, Johnny, but I definitely wanted to see other questions. I mean, she's obviously known for her Captain Phasma in Star Wars, and we don't know if she's coming back in 9, but yeah, or whatever her other projects are. I would really like to know what she's going to be doing. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to rant for so long, but that was one of the most frustrating experiences I've had, because yeah, it was crazy.
It happens. Yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons why I did that, in all seriousness, is to let you guys know. And by the way, that was on a Thursday when it was supposed to be light traffic. So but on Con of Thrones, I think we're going to get a much bigger crowd, so be prepared. If you've ever been to Disney World or Disneyland and you spent half your time frustrated in line waiting to go on a ride, that's kind of what I think it's going to be like. I don't think it's going to be where you're going to sit down and talk to Arya Stark or Nikolaj Coster or anybody like that. So keep that in mind, or a YouTuber for that matter, because they'll be on 3 other panels and they'll be running back and forth all over the place doing their things. So keep that in mind.
It'll be crazy when Con of Thrones shows up. My gosh.
Yeah. And Ice and Fire Con is next month. From what I understand, the from T-Baby and Monero Geek TV and Teflon TV, Tony was telling me that it's a much more relaxed. Don the Kraken Wit also was sharing with me. It's a much more relaxed camp environment, and so you get to spend more time doing some of the things that you might want to do. So Radio Westeros is going to be there, so that'll be fun as well. I'll enjoy that.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few people going to both Ice and Fire Con and Con of Thrones, which is cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, but conventions.
Did you see any other questions in the chat? Because I totally
think
like went on a rampage there for too long, so I apologize.
I think early on, I can't remember where it was, but I think Johnny might have asked me what my favorite episode was or something of the show. It's hard to say because it depends on what season we're looking at, but like I would say the episode, there's 2 episodes that I always like before I'd obviously covered it the way that I cover it. The episodes that I'd go back and watch, surprisingly or not surprisingly, are Watchers on the Wall or Battle of the Bastards. I don't know why, but there's like 2 episodes that I always go back to. Maybe it's because of the fight choreography and I'm not used to like, or just because of the way that the story is told in that episode or not. Like, I don't know. But, and I don't know, like it's hard to say because all of them are pretty good. There's some episodes where it's just like, meh. Yeah, like, yeah, like it's hard to tell like which one's a bad. Like none of them are bad, but there's some that are like meh. But then there's the other ones that are just like awesome. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Tony from Teflon TV just came in. Said he's on the side of the living. Thank you for that. He's been really feeling bad, so I'm glad that you're here and doing well, my friend. Appreciate it. Vlad asked, in the trailer you see Cersei sitting alone drinking wine. Do you think that's when she's told the North has lost?
The wine drinking and like say it could be assumed that there's maybe reports that maybe Jaime has died, and obviously he probably hasn't. There's maybe something like that. But I know it within the fandom that there has been that whole not controversy, but this whole conversation of why is she drinking wine again? Is it because she's lost the baby, or is it what this, that, and the other thing? I think that the whole drinking wine thing and her overtly not drinking wine in the last season, especially with her conversation with Tyrion, was really for us to have that 21st century tell of a woman's not drinking anything, who typically drinks a lot of alcohol and typically drinks a lot of wine. That's our overt tell of, okay, she absolutely is pregnant, and to tell somebody else that she is. I feel like unless she does miscarry this child in the first episode, that I don't think she actually really, like, it's not a thing that she actually cares about too much. Like, I feel like she would. I think it was just an overt decision for her not to drink in like the last episode, just for us to 100% know that yes, she is pregnant, and to be like a tell for other people. But if it is like when she finds the North is lost, I wouldn't. I think she'd be more cheerful about that.
For sure.
Like, it could be just the fact that even though Jaime has ultimately decided not to be on her side anymore, it could be the fact that now Jaime has died, or there's reports that he potentially either is dead or he can't be found. That's what would make her emotional. Or maybe on the side of the younger, more beautiful queen thing of like that's officially like he's now taken sides with Sansa, and that she's completely lost the one person that she holds most dear anymore is now completely switched and chosen the enemy. Because with that theory too, it was overtly shown to us that it was Sansa, but then we get Marjorie, and then now we all think it's Daenerys, but it's probably Sansa, that the one person that she's just most still is like that she's still alive and that Jaime's on her side. It's probably why she's emotional.
Yeah, I said this in a live stream before that I definitely think this is later in the season when, because she has no armor, she's just in her night clothes. She's just totally like ceremonial. So this is a relaxed state. I definitely think she's lost the baby and she's realizing what she's in for with her marriage with Euron, and she's not gonna do it. And so she's drinking not only the wine but the poison in the wine. And I think it's going to be her end, because she realizes she's failed. She's shown it before in other she showed it before in the episode at the Blackwater, and so without a doubt, I think it's her end.
Yeah.
Even though that's the only reason she would cry, right?
Yeah.
Showing
him real emotion.
We talk a lot about the Valancourt prophecy in the show, and or in the books, and why it hasn't been really foretold, and what the problems are with prophecies in general. And so this is one of those things where the Strangler is basically the one that's going to get her, and no person is going to be we've all seen 100 videos about who the Valancourt is, including one that I like. I've always said it was going to be Jaime, and definitely not. Looks like it's going to be the poison.
There's many theories, from Jaime to Tyrion to Jon. Even like some people say Arya or Sansa. Like there's so many different versions, but yeah, I feel like it's the Valancourt, and it's like making her pale with the one that paled right. But yeah, I don't think they mention the Valancourt in the show when they obviously have that thing, so it will be a shock value to the viewer. Obviously, the TV show watcher who doesn't look into videos on YouTube and such, that'll be a shock. Same thing with Dany's visions in the House of the Undying, how she has multiple different visions than the ones that she's explained, that is explained in the show, like the one of the woman and the dwarves, and the man with the wife and the baby, like that whole thing that she has in the books instead of in the show. Like there's strategically reasons why they took stuff out for shock value later. Yeah. That's probably why they didn't overtly put it in the show, because then if they put it in the show, there would be that recall of like, oh yeah, that's what they mentioned with that. So yeah.
Fake Arya says, of course, talking about the food, she has a channel that's the Bravosi broadcast that she put a link to. I definitely can check that out. I think once is enough, so thank you for doing that.
Sometimes YouTube is weird and it posts like multiple times. Like it's a little weird.
Okay, if you say so.
No, it's personally done that in my, like, when I've replied to people in the comment sections, it posts the same comment like 15 times. So I can see that sometimes it does that.
Yeah.
Just
I think it's on my Facebook too. If anybody misses that link, because it's not as a link, you'd have to copy and paste it. So, yeah, I definitely think that scene in the trailer with Cersei is one of those things that you just are taken aback by, because you don't know whether that's in the beginning or whether it's later in the season and what's causing it. So, but there's a lot of things in the trailer that are like that, aren't there?
Yeah, there's like different things, like Arya and her running from whom or whatever she's running from, to it's just there's so much that could be thought about, and like maybe one person will get it right, or we all get it right, or we all get it wrong. It's just the fun of the speculation that is what we do on YouTube.
Was there anything in there that you are still puzzled over?
I haven't really went and rewatched the trailer in a while, but even though it came out not that long ago.
The first 100 times wasn't enough.
Yeah. It's hard to say because it's like, what is Arya, like, what obviously is Arya running from? It has to be something that she's either absolutely terrified of, which is one of her family members dying and turning into a white, or it is probably the Faceless Men and the Faceless Men coming for her in some aspect, because it has to be something that she's totally like not expecting, because Arya's not afraid of a lot of things. So
Right. That's one of the things that makes me think it's not a Faceless Man. That's that's not a white from her family, because they think she would be not only heartless enough to kill them, but conscious that she's doing the right thing for them. Even if it was Hodor, I think she would want Hodor dead. You know what I mean? As opposed to being a white under the Night King's control. So I don't think it's a white. But as far as it being a Faceless Man, even when we had the waif, I don't think she was that afraid, except for the fact that she was injured, prior to that happening. And even then she killed the waif perfectly. So yeah. Or did she?
Dun dun dun. There's that whole thing. Is Arya the waif, or is waif Arya? Like,
no, we'll move on.
Before we trigger people.
Yeah. I could see the rage in the chat.
Yeah, just building.
Can I ask what your favorite video is that you've made is in regards to Game of Thrones content?
Well, majority of my content has been live streams, but the video that I'm kind of proud of, I could say is my Jon and Sansa 2-part series that I've done, but that's just because of the amount of like work and stuff that I've done with it. But I feel like the one that I kind of am very proud of, that I don't talk about very much but until recently, was the Younger, More Beautiful Queen video, being Sansa over Daenerys. That was the first one that I ever did. It was rough in terms of editing, but I made it through. Basically, where I say it's the one that Cersei's been fearing the whole time is the one that's been basically under her nose, which overtly it was Marjorie for a long time. And then we suspect that it's Daenerys because of season 6 into season 7. But yeah, the one that she kind of forgot about, and the one that she least expects is the one to ultimately cast her down, in a sense. And it connects to the next theory video that I'm working on, or theory podcast that I'm working on. So yeah.
So you did a video recently with Johnny about your passion or your like of the High Garden in the Reach. I think that's a really, really good project that you guys worked on, and I'm looking forward to doing one with Winterfell with Johnny soon. And I think that's one of the things that I like about Robert's channel from In Deep Geek is the Traveler's Guide. I think it's fun to think of yourself as a traveler through Westeros. If you were a traveler through Westeros, would there be something that you would want? Because I think if you didn't have Sandor Clegane with you, or Bronn, you wouldn't live very long.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to fit. You'd have to be a rich person, as Johnny says. Like you'd have to drink wine all the time instead of water. So you'd have to be a rich person, or a person with modest means to survive in that. You can't be a peasant in Westeros. Like you can be a peasant maybe in King's Landing, but not so in like the north for any other areas of Westeros, pretty much. Yeah. Drink wine is pretty much the most thing over
Stay in
water.
the tavern.
Yeah, pretty much is. Yeah.
Unless Sander comes in, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Sander and Arya, she doesn't like the
Asking
chickens.
ask if a man comes and asking for chicken, then you better run. Yeah.
It is fun to hear his stories. I really enjoy Robert's channel. So hopefully we'll have him on the 24th. Yeah. 5 p.m. Eastern, I think, is what we've booked. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, Robert's really good. Yeah.
We still have Revengeance will be on tomorrow. Axel Foley will be on the 21st. Justin Thomas will be on the 22nd, and then Robert. What's that?
Oh, because so if I can explain it further for the people who don't know, so on Twitter, it's the pinned tweet on my Twitter. So Bobby Catalano and Al Red Sox fan are my Twitter parents, and then Johnny is my Twitter husband, and then Foya Hexa is my Twitter child, along with Justin Thomas show. So me and Johnny are shared Twitter children are Foya Hexa and the Justin Thomas show. So that's always the joke that now runs on episode club live streams and such.
You guys are way too involved for me. I'll be the uncle that doesn't visit except on Christmas with.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Thank you guys. I appreciate Bobby you saying that. That's really nice of you. Yeah, I've still got the Bats production. Kevin is going to be on the 28th. Claire and Catherine, I'm not sure exactly what day they're coming on, but sometime during the week of the 24th. And then I still have Lucifer Means Lightbringer and Gray Area and Khaleesi Clues that haven't a specific date, but they'll be coming on as well, hopefully. We've gotten a commitment from them, so looks like it's going to be a fun stream.
Yeah, you got so many good people.
Yeah.
Who
including
came
me,
and who,
right?
Yeah. Some people who have come and who are yet to come. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Tony from Teflon TV was here first because he is the man. And, we had Johnny Be Crazy, Lawrence Corner, the dog. So many great people. Kyle was here. Marie was here. That was a fun stream. Got to do a lot of fun stuff. Al Red Sox fan was here. Raised Alba. And he was actually the one I was in line for to get one of the pops at the con. He wanted the Arya Stark one, and if I could, I would have gotten one for Fandom Desaint, and then Kevin from Bats Production, because I know they're big, huge pop fans. I personally have never bought a pop, so I was like, this will be a fun thing for me to do the first time ever, buying a pop. Yeah, so
to give it away.
Well, of course. I mean, I'm not going to keep it.
Yeah.
I do have a Danny pop and a Throne pop, but those were given to me at a HBO junket. So I've never bought a pop. So I've never even bought one as a gift for someone else. So yeah. Fandom, check out my Instagram page. You'll see a line that is an hour long, and that was only 1/3 of the time that I was there. So it's crazy.
I heard there was there was a lottery or something for it, and then you'd have to stand in line. So if you had like a specific ticket, then you could go first, and then everybody else was just back of the line.
For this one, it was just get in line and stay on the wall. They had people from Funko coming around showing which ones had sold out. They did that about every 30 minutes. And by the time I got where I could actually see the Funko store, that's when they told me it was
I was like, dang it. Yeah.
And that was like I said, that was after I looked for this thing for 3 hours, trying to find out where is this stupid Funko? You know, like I don't know what I'm talking about. What's a what's a Funko?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and then I heard that they had some in the stores, like Hot Topics, Barnes and Noble, and another store had them, but they weren't in every store, and blah blah blah. And
I think the Arya one is exclusive to a certain store called Box Lunch, I think is what it's called. Yeah, because there's so that's what I
have
heard
no
on
idea.
Instagram. So
like I said, I was just doing this for Ray because I know he's a huge Funko fan, and Fandom of course is, and so is Kevin. So they don't have them in excuse me, they don't have them at Hot Topics, huh? Fandom. I should have asked you. You
not
probably would
that
know.
one. I don't.
Oh, okay. So Costume Co. did buy hers at Hot Topic. So interesting.
Oh, she did. I have to.
Oh no, Tony, don't get me one. No, Tony. if you find one, send it to Ray. He's the one that's looking for it. I'm just the guy that buys them. So, and just trying to show my appreciation for Ray coming on. But Teflon is. I should have guessed he would have been the man. He's the man for everything, like he's just the guy you go to.
If you need Funko advice, you also go to BBM or Fandom D
Saint. Fandom D Saint is always in the Funko. I mean, he says he's got apps for that. I mean, it's like
yeah, they have apps and all that stuff
funny.
for them.
Yeah.
I have a few, but I don't have like too many. Not as much as Fandom. I don't think anybody has as much as Fandom, except for the specific niche on YouTube. That
Teflon says I found some falling off the truck.
Oh no,
that's hilarious. No,
no.
I'll hit you up later, my friend. That is hilarious. Frank Markopoulos is here. Great. Hopefully we'll be able to get Frank on to do some narration because he's a great narrator, and I just love him. He's been putting out an awful lot of material, and I'm really enjoying it. So thank you, Frank. Thanks for coming. Catherine Hardig is also here. I don't know if I said hello to you earlier, but thank you. One of the things that I'm really excited about is how I'm going to watch this show. Do you have any special plans on watching this series?
Well, in terms of what I'm doing with my with content, or just how I will watch the show, well, how I would watch it myself is we have the channel. I didn't used to have the channel, so I had to watch it online like the day after it came out, which was, but that was before I was able to obviously watch it live. So I have the channel, which I can watch it on the TV with everybody else. But in terms of content, I'll be on with Johnny sometimes on Mondays when he does the content, Nooners of Thrones around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then on my own channel, I'm covering it for the Complete Out Episode Club, and those will be on Wednesdays at the same time that they usually are, around 8:30, and I have a spreadsheet that I'm gonna have some people fill out who've never seen the show, and they're gonna guess if people live, die, how they die, and if they survive, what they do next, from people who've never seen the show. And I'm gonna pull that out the first episode, and we'll check back every time afterwards to see if they're right or if they're wrong, or if they're half right or half wrong.
Or just completely fall on their face, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that'll be that's the first time / not never seeing the show before, but their guesstimations. So it'll be different with Episode Club this time around.
Do you have a particular event coming up, like within the next week or so?
I don't like.
Besides
It's
your
just
16 other episodes that you
yeah,
cover?
yeah. No, I just been doing episode clubs. We'll just be doing the live ones on Wednesdays, and then there's just the stuff with Johnny and with the Cylon Johns. There's nothing in the books that's different than all of those, but yeah, it's just all the same stuff all the time. Just kind of getting everything ready for the beginning / the end of the season, the
Nice.
series of the show.
Again, I wanted to thank Catherine Hardig, Clarissa Thompson, Costume Co., Fake Arya, Fandom D, Saint Frank Markopoulos, of course. Ian Renfro's here. Thank you for being here. Johnny Be Crazy is always holding it down. Joss Whedon, Mo Castillo, Nida is here. Reese O, Santavia Major. Like I said, thank you again for coming. Sunny Frank is here. Sunny Florida Frank, definitely. And of course, my friend Tony from Teflon TV. The lady Olena Tyrell came in, so thank you for being here. Tina Sarah is also here, and thank you again for that super chat. I just want to say thank you. That is really generous of you. It's totally appreciated and unnecessary. Like I said, every time you have a question, just highlight my name with the @ sign, and I'll be glad to answer it. Tolka's 420 and Vlad Riot all here. I want to say thank you again. Tomorrow we'll have Revengeance on. Should be 11 Eastern time, if I think it's correct. So make sure you bring coffee. I hope you guys can make it, and it'll be an interesting chat with her. By the way, that's not her real name. Something new I find every day in talking to great creators out there. You guys have an amazing day, and hopefully we'll see you on tomorrow or again on Mackenzie's channel. Always glad to be there as well. So you guys have a great day. Thank you again for coming.